It is 10 o'clock on Friday, December 3rd, 2021. And this is the meeting of the Board of Health. Can I get a roll call, please?
Gavin Byers?
James LaFleur.
And Chris Nosella. We're going to an appointment hearing at 1.1, which is the COVID update. From what I got from Rick, our numbers went from 6. What the hell was that?
You started telling the numbers, the phone couldn't handle it.
I don't know who's HIA. I don't know who that is. Anyway, let me shut this off, guys. I'm sorry. We'll start again.
Are you?
All right, so the numbers went from 64 to 62. They've dropped 2. I've noticed that, you know, other areas like just recently, Chelsea has mandated masks in every building, not just town buildings. I'm not saying we do anything like that at all. I would like to discuss what you guys think. I know what I think, and I'll throw that in at the end if it's okay with you guys. Jim, you want to go first?
No.
Okay, Gavin, you're up.
Um,
I'm glad you can read those.
yeah. So, you know, I've been, commenting that I think we need to have some sort of we need to have a work session to figure out what the triggers are gonna be for what's going on.
Yep.
I think we need to get a little better understanding of the process of the percentage rate and how that's formulated. Get a better understanding of how many people are being tested in this town versus other towns in the county, and how that percentage rate relates to us and what we should or can be doing about it.
Okay.
I'm not sure that as a board we have a full understanding of what the state looks at and how it relates to population density and, you know, what the people of every town is doing. I'd like to have a little bit of a better understanding of that type of stuff. That being said, today and now, you know, we have a ton of cases in town,
More than we've ever had.
more than we've ever had. So I was looking at some of the data last week, and we're pretty much in line with where we were a year ago in the whole state in terms of positive cases. So where we were a year ago. So and I don't think, I see more people in public wearing masks, but I don't necessarily feel like we're looking at it as serious as it was a year ago. And I think we kind of should be. So that's kind of my spiel. I think there's a lot more to dive into. And I'll also say I'm the last person who wants to have a conversation about mandating anything, especially something as polarizing as immunization, even though I'm a pro-vaccination person. I'm not a pro, you have to get vaccination done type of person. So I think there's a lot of work to be done before we start making big decisions, and I think there's a lot of big decisions to be made and some work to be done. That's kind of my piece. In terms of, you know, I haven't been here long enough to know what level is safe or not to start closing buildings to the public. I don't talk to enough of the people that work in here to know what they're comfortable with and what is effective for the town in terms of accessibility to, you know, the public availability to town functions. So it's hard enough as it is to get any sort of a permit or any sort of application or any sort of process started and completed. And when you start closing buildings, you know, that starts making things really slow down. Economically, during Christmas, I'm not sure that's,
I don't think we want to actually close the building, Gavin.
but, well, no, I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's gotta be part of the conversation, right? So what I'm saying is, by looking at the data for the state, we're at the same positivity rate we were a year ago.
Mm.
And a year ago, this was pretty serious. So we're in a condition where we're either going to live with a bunch of people that are walking around with the virus, right? Or we're gonna do things a little bit different to prevent the spread of said virus, right? That's all I'm saying. In that conversation has to be closing buildings, or at least closing them to the public, right? That's gotta be a part of the conversation. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So, and I'm not saying that's what we need to do or shouldn't do, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of information to look at, from my point of view, at looking at where we're at today. And you started it off saying this is the highest number of cases we've had.
Yeah, even in the height of.
Even against a year ago.
Yeah, it is. I think we hit a max of about, I think 45? Yeah, and last week we were 66. That's not good. We're going the wrong direction. And I think people are forgetting and getting a little complacent. I mean, I wear my mask when I go into supermarkets and stores because, hey, I'm trying to protect my family, you know? I can't make anyone else do it. I don't think right now is the time to say, everybody go wear masks everywhere like we did before. We have people vaccinated. Our vaccination rate is, overall, we're at 63%. I think that's quite low for our population. But we can't make the people get vaccinated, you know, we just can't do that. We can try and educate people to the vaccines, that's what has been done since they first came out, but, you know, people just sit back and go, you know what, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that. But yet they have no problem vaccinating their kids to go to public school. I don't understand it. I can't make people do it, and I don't think it's our job to make people do it. But we can protect our town as best we can, and sometimes we have to make decisions that are a little difficult that a lot of people aren't gonna like, what was it, last year, Jim, or the year before? We had to stop Halloween because the numbers were so high. You know, we didn't want to, but we had to, and it worked out all right. Everybody got over it pretty quick. I'd like to hear what you think, Joe.
It's about time.
Go ahead, my friend.
I appreciate the input both of you have put in. I have my own little opinion here. We don't know what this new crisis is gonna be that's coming out of Africa at this time.
Yeah.
And it's already in two places, Los Angeles and Chicago,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. okay.
And New York, another one just
Yeah.
came out. I think there's 4 of them now.
Yeah, so with this already occurring in the world, we're normally gonna be the last one to get hit because we've been protective like Europe has, et cetera. But I think we gotta look at the safety of our own people initially. And if we're here for the reason of going back to the key pass on there, if you're just actually asking for permission to enter the building, you're informed at the door you have to have a mask. And let them run business accordingly, but don't have 15 people come in at one time just walking the hall so that we're protecting the best interest of the employees.
And we all know that the building isn't that crowded.
Correct.
It does give us the chance to do a little more, we'll call it contact tracing, Because if you go into, like, say, oh, I don't know, the town clerk's office, they know who came in because they buzzed them in. We're not saying that they have to write down your name and address, but they know everybody in town pretty much that comes in. Same with our office, the building department, you'll know who comes in, and you'll know how to get in touch with them if something happens.
Could we start a type of a poll by whoever's gonna let people in the building when they buzz in, just ask right at that time, have you been vaccinated? And if they haven't been
I don't
vaccinated,
think
they
we-
still have
that's-
admission,
That's,
so we can
that's
find
HEPA
out.
laws, I don't think we can do that.
We can't ask if they've been vaccinated, just to
No.
take a poll? Okay,
No,
well, that
that's-
was just an idea.
Yeah, no,
Notice the
that's
town.
unfortunately, that's a HEPA law, you're asking for medical.
Oh, all right.
Thanks, we
I'll
can't do
just
that.
try to get a little input of how many
Yeah.
are actually gonna admit that they haven't been vaccinated. Cause I'm all vaccinated, I got the
Yeah.
booster, the whole bit.
My booster's coming on the 9th.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
you can make the assumption that 4 people out of every 10 are not.
correct.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's an assumption though, once again, yeah.
But it's a data-driven.
Yeah. And I got a comment about the masks also.
Mm.
Everybody's opposed to the masks, they say they're not working, but if you're just having a regular conversation with somebody and you're talking, your lungs are gonna push that air that's coming out of your lungs about 2 to 3 feet in front of you. At least with the mask on, it stops that from happening. It keeps it much closer to your own personal body,
Mm.
so it does lower the risk of contamination.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
So, and other than that, I'm in favor of having the key card entrance for a while again until we know where we're going, just to protect the employees.
Yep, okay. Gavin, what do you think?
I agree with that.
Yep. And so do I. Like we can only recommend.
Correct?
And I think having one person in each department at a time, or to call and make an appointment might be a good suggestion, so that you don't get 20 people standing outside in the cold because, you know, you can only have one person in office at a time, to make it safe for the employees.
So there should be a little note put on the door, or above that little pad thing up there, so
Yeah.
people know what's going on,
Yep.
and they're in tune to it.
You have anything?
Well, let me just say this.
Yes.
When this first came about, town hall was shut down for a couple months.
Yes.
I shut my office for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Started appointments, meeting people outside. It worked.
Mhm.
We got things done. Then we opened up with that. And now we're open full.
Mhm.
And as far as the employees in here, I think we've only had a couple of positives for employees, even open to the public. So I don't feel we're in, I think we're careful. In my office, we have the plexiglass up still, we never took it down. People aren't allowed into our office, they stop at the door. So I think overall, we've done a good job as it is now.
Mhm.
And people know to stand back.
Okay.
So do you think we should or we shouldn't go to that push button task?
My opinion is I don't think it's necessary. I
Really,
don't
you
think we
don't?
have that many people, I mean, we're gonna be in the middle of dog licensing soon, but I think if we put up more signs that says maybe, you know, keep socially distant from the person in front of you. And people are pretty respectful of that anyways. If you go into the grocery stores, you don't find somebody right behind you generally in line. They're keeping back. I think people are getting used to this. Masks, yeah, somebody comes in with a mask on even when we didn't have to. I put my mask on because obviously they're either not vaccinated or they're more comfortable with a mask, so I'll make them even more comfortable by wearing one. So I think if people are sensible, although not everybody is,
Mm.
but
Tyler?
I think that there should be better signage at the front door. I think that everyone is just so, the signs, people are just walking right by them. They've been up for years now. Are they reading them? Does it say it's recommended? Does it say you have to be? They're not reading them. I think that maybe if we had like a sandwich board sign
Yeah,
or something, literally right in front, or a cone, a stanchion with a sign that says, you must have a mask on regardless of your vaccination status.
yeah.
Now, do we still have our sign that used to go out front that the kids used to knock over?
No, I have the
Yeah.
letters, but I don't have
You
the
don't have the
sign. But I could check with facilities and see if someone has a sign. I mean, what about Emmy? Didn't she have a sign? I
I
remember.
think she did at one point.
Or do you have one for elections?
Not like that, but you can change things. We just have election signs.
Mhm.
Do we
But
have,
you can.
do we have an easel and a dry marker or a small
I
chalkboard
have
or
signs
something
like that, yeah.
that we could
So-
put outside maybe and?
They'll blow over outside.
Right, you
Yeah.
really need something much bigger.
Yeah.
Handwriting signs and taking them off the computers and printing them out. People are not seeing them. They're
I
just
mean,
not.
I have a sign that looks like a stop sign.
Yeah,
It's, probably this big. That you could put like in the corner over by Carla's office saying, stop, please wear, have your mask on or.
I tried
something.
that with the, right when you walk in, I had made a sign that was 11 by 17, stop, 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 stop. And Janet said, no one's gonna look at it, and they just walk right by,
Yeah,
walk right by. So it's really gotta be, I mean, that would be fantastic if you had the big stop, and then a big made sign. It's gotta be, it can't be a piece of paper. It's gotta be a big sign. That's just my opinion.
mm,
I mean, you can get signs on the cheap where we get our political signs, if you have something made up.
Yeah, the signs that we get at the recycling center are about $30, so I do know that there's no more money for COVID though. There's no more care funds.
mm.
But what about
That was
ARPA
closed. I'm sorry,
ARPA funds,
do we still have ARPA funds?
yes, that's the new thing now, American Relief
Okay.
Act or something on that idea.
Mm. Now,
Okay.
do all the offices think the same as you, just
I
curious?
don't know. I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, you figure the offices that's mainly open to the public is mine, building, board of health, and the tax office.
Mm.
Those are the ones that get most of the traffic
Yeah,
coming through.
and basically, the front door to the building department is locked at all times.
Yes, and Ross had talked about asking if all the offices wanted to stay locked, but I see then a lot of people standing in the hallway waiting for the offices, because if we have our door closed, sometimes there's 3 people standing
Three
right there
people,
waiting to
Yeah.
get in. And then if you have the tax collector, which is also the assessor office, you sometimes have 1 or 2 people out there, and this is with the door open.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna close, I just see a lot more people congregating in the hallway, which is what we're trying to avoid.
So having the buzzer would definitely deter that. Because you'd keep the
Right.
people out of the building,
Right,
but
and you could,
not closing it so that no one can get in.
right, and you could also, when somebody buzzes, if I have 1 or 2 people here, because I don't mind letting 2 people in, because I have a big area.
Right.
Okay, and, and we've told people, we have someone here, we'll let you in, but please stand back,
Mm-hmm.
social distance. And people have been very respectful.
Yeah,
But then we've had times where we've had to say, we already have people in here, as soon as they leave, we will come get you and let you in,
mm,
so.
Can you please go wait in your car? So if they ring the buzzer, we can say, we have a few people in here, it might be helpful for you to go sit in your car and we'll come out and get you when we have
Yeah.
availability.
okay.
So that keeps them out of the cold.
Mm. What do you guys think?
I think we're in for a downturn in all this stuff. I think our cases are gonna rise nationwide. I think there's gonna be more complications coming from Africa when they start happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't wanna see ourselves put everybody in harm's way by not taking a little action to assist in slowing it down.
Yeah, we've made tough calls before,
Mhm.
not always popular, but I feel necessary. Gavin, what do you think? I know you're our new member, but,
I would err on the side of the caution. if there's not a lot of cons to locking the front door, using the buzzer system for people that are getting in, and managing it that way, I think it's an added step of protection to at least have some sort of a control. If you, and that, I didn't really think about it, but if you wanted to if there were two people there and you wanted to let two people in and you feel like you can manage that, I feel perfectly comfortable saying that you can manage that, that's what you're comfortable with. If other offices have their door locked now to begin with, it's obvious they're not comfortable with just letting people in right away and maybe giving them an option makes it a little bit better. We don't know anything about the variant that's out right now. It could be less intense of a virus strain where you just get sick, it's not actually killing as many people, right?
Right.
We don't know that. We're gonna get a little bit of a false sense of relief when all of these 5 to 15-year-olds get their second dose of the vaccination because our percentage is gonna go up a little bit, and we're gonna get a little bump up in our percentage. But 5 to 12-year-olds aren't the kids coming into public town buildings. So there's gonna be a little bit of some numbers that are changing. I'm always gonna decide on the air of caution and say, if it's lock the front door, use the buzzer system or not, going into the holidays with all of the things we're talking about right now, I'm gonna say, lock it, use the buzzer system.
Okay.
That's kind of my thing. Masks should be mandatory in
Which
public
they are.
buildings anyway.
Yeah.
That makes it easy, right? Now we're controlling access. I come from a little bit of a military thought process, control access points, and then PPE. All right, that's how you control environments.
Oddly enough, that's the same with construction.
It's the same with everything, it works.
Cal?
When is the selectmen meeting next, do you know, Kathy?
Monday,
Monday,
and then they have a meeting Tuesday also,
okay,
both days,
okay, which they can include as,
an emergency.
an emergency within the 48 hours, so that's crucial that you're meeting today,
Yeah.
that you can get the notice to the selectmen for their meeting on Monday
Yeah,
and Tuesday.
so basically, all we're doing is making recommendations. They're
Sure.
in charge of the buildings, and they're gonna do, they've been pretty good with what we recommend, you know? I know the temporary town administrator isn't a big fan of this at all. I also know that Rick said he doesn't think it's a great idea, because he said the other towns aren't doing it, which I don't care what other towns do, our job is to protect our town. And I don't think it's a big deal or gonna hurt anyone by just doing this. It worked in the past, and I don't see why. We spent probably a shit ton of money on that system, I'm sure we did,
Yeah, I'm sure it's thousands, yeah.
you know?
So
That's-
it is kind of my point to the fact that, just as an observation from me, if you look at the past 2 years, it looks like, oh, something happened, we need to make a decision, okay, let's do this. Oh, something happened, we need to make a decision, all right, let's do this. Oh, something happened. It kind of feels like it's wishy-washy back and forth. I've
It
kind
is.
of been saying for a little while, we need to get a grasp of what the data is,
Yeah,
what it really means to us, instead of just looking at it as a number compared to another number. We need to really dig into that stuff and say, look, this is gonna be our plan moving forward. These are our thresholds on these ticket items, and this is why we're making those decisions. We got a town meeting coming up, right? If we lock this and we have a controlled access point, what does that say about our recommendation for the town meeting coming up? If we're restricting access to the building as a recommendation, yet it's okay to have a town meeting,
I can tell you that what we put in place with the masks and I believe it was 2 people in an office need masks that have to stay 6 feet apart. I don't know how they're going to do a town meeting in this building. I really don't. There's no way to keep 200 people or 80 people 6 feet apart, even 3 feet apart in that great hall. Go ahead.
What about, I mean, town meeting is a definite concern, especially of mine, because,
Yes,
you know, I'm
you're in
part of
charge.
that. But what about just regular meetings?
Hmm.
Is everything gonna revert back to everything is Zoom, that's it, no in-person
This is my point.
type? You know, because right now,
Hmm.
there's 5 of us in this room, which
Yeah.
is, that's okay.
Yeah,
You're all separated, I'm way over here. Oh, 6, I'm sorry, Hartley, 6 of us.
yeah.
So, to me, that doesn't seem to be an issue, but town meetings that's a whole different
Yeah. Now, that's,
ballgame.
I don't think that's as much on us as it is the selectmen, because they're in charge of that, are they not?
No, I'm
Well,
gonna
your
disagree with that.
recommendation,
Yeah, well, we can only make recommendations.
we were told 80 in the Great Hall,
Yeah,
then we will have the selectmen's chambers open for overflow
yeah,
in this room here, and this room will be used for people who refuse to wear a mask.
they,
So, according to Mass General Law and elections and all of that stuff, which your town meeting falls under elections,
mhm,
you cannot tell someone they cannot enter without a mask. You are impeding their right to vote. And that can be a whole big thing.
so which means that they won't need to be 6 feet apart, because they just don't give a shit, is what you're saying.
So, that's why they're planning unmasked people will be in this room.
And there's gonna be, I assume, a TV or something?
Yeah.
Now, how do
It'll be
they
set up.
participate?
There'll be a moderator in here.
With a microphone?
Yes, there'll be, I guess they're gonna put an owl, you know, one of those owls here
Yes, the
and in the
owl.
selectmen's chambers. But there'll be a moderator, deputy moderator in here,
Mhm.
counting votes.
Okay.
But just so you're aware, you can't
Yeah,
tell somebody,
so they figure they can put 80 people in there 3 feet apart?
yes. So the plan is to put them in twos, because the feeling is if you come in a car together,
Yeah,
you should be able to sit together.
yeah, that's
If I
fine.
come with my husband, I think it's okay for us to sit like this.
Do you wanna sit with them?
Well, that's a whole nother story.
We love Steve.
So I am going to have someone there so that if a family of 3 come in
Yeah,
and want to sit together, because there'll be chairs in twos, 3 feet apart,
yeah,
Ana will be rearranging the row to accommodate. Stacy Shuttler comes in with all her kids in it.
Right.
There's no reason why they can't sit together, so there could be 5 of them there.
right.
So, you know, he will be rearranging things a little bit.
Hmm.
And what is the amount of the people that usually come to the town meetings in the fall? Do you
I
have a
don't know,
turnout?
generally it's around 100 people, 110,
Okay.
something like that. Quorum 75,
Hmm.
so if it falls under that, we can't have a meeting.
Okay.
So,
Any
it's
questions?
a lot
guys?
easier in the spring when we can have it outside.
I'm still gonna go with, my opinion is the more we do to protect
Hmm.
each other, the better up we are. And obviously, when it comes to the town meeting, people are gonna do, everybody's gonna do what they have to do to get the town meeting so that it's run appropriately. That's essentially out of our control. But to keep the town hall and everybody safe here, I'm still gonna think that we should go back to that.
Okay, can we get a motion to make a recommendation to the selectmen that we recommend using the buzzer again, allowing minimal people in at a time?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there we go. Next meeting is the 13th at 5 PM. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Hang on.
Everybody put that in your phone.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 10:30.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye,
Take a vote.
Thank you, Matt.
and thank you.